Good evening, everybody. Welcome into the High School Sports Zone. I am your host, Jake Durant. I'm joined by Haley Schoengart. We're super grateful to be nice and dry here in the studio after a wet and rainy Friday night last week. Now, Haley, it was your first taste of high school football in the UP coming from Kentucky. What did you think?
That is right. The weather may have not been ideal, but I came away from my first experience very impressed. The teams didn't let the weather affect their play. They really came out and competed. It was a lot of fun.
And I agree. First things first, we need to take a look back at our game of the week. The Gladstone Braves and Calumet Copper Kings really set the bar high to start things off. I think we nailed it. It was definitely one of the best, if not the best, game of last week.
Yeah, we couldn't have asked for a better way to start things off this season. Both teams coming out ready to play. This one went back and forth with several lead changes. I thought both teams deserved to win this one, but in overtime, the Braves were able to make the plays to win the game 26-20. The game deciding touchdown coming from the Braves' Nate Young, and Gladstone's defense making a stop late to seal the deal.
Haley, I think what stood out most to me was some of the players that we talked about during our live shot Friday night on Local 3 News really didn't let us down. Cam Ballard for Gladstone was very solid, leading the Braves offense. Running back Cole Potier rushed for 3 touchdowns and 134 yards, a very solid game by him. And then for the Copper Kings, Dryden Nelson showed he could really do it all. He really put the Copper Kings back or on his back, showing why he was a Dream Team selection last season.
You know, we just stuck with our game plan. We didn't panic when things went good, bad, or otherwise. We just kind of stuck with it, and the kids just went out there and made plays down the stretch, never stopped believing, never quit. It always feels good to get a win. I mean, anytime you come up here, you're going to have a tough game against Coach Crosey and the Copper Kings, and tonight was just a whale of a football game, and I couldn't be more happy for my team to come out on top tonight.
That game was definitely worth that Game of the Week title. I can't wait to see where we are headed this week.
Don't go away. We're just getting things started here in the High School Sports Zone.
When we return, we will reveal our top 3 plays from last week. It's our top 3-on-3 coming up after the break. But first, here is a look at all of the Week 1 football scores.
Welcome back into the Sports Zone. If you want to reach out to us, you can do it on our social media feeds. It's at the Local 3 Sports Zone on Facebook and at the Local 3 Sports ZN on Twitter.
Big-time players make big-time plays. Each week, we will revisit 3 plays that really popped off the screen.
This is our top 3-on-3 plays of the week, sponsored by Recycle 906.
Number 3.
Our number 3 play of the week is courtesy of Marquette's David Eberhard. After catching a short pass, he would break loose down the sidelines. After almost getting tripped up, Eberhard would bobble the football, but somehow, some way, he's able to regain control without even breaking stride. Talk about some concentration there. Eberhard would get tackled inside the 5-yard line, setting up a Marquette touchdown. Just one of many big plays for the team in red in their big win over Alpena in their season opener. Congrats, David. You get our number 3 play of the week.
Number 2.
Our number 2 play of the week is this sliding catch by Lance's Braden Lee. The turf at McAfee Field was a bit slick with all of the falling rain. As you see, Lee slip and fall, but he doesn't take his eye off the ball, and he brings it in for a Purple Hornets score. Lance with a nice win to open up their season 28-12 over the Hancock Bulldogs. Congratulations, Braden. You get the number 2 play of the week.
Number 1.
And for our number 1 play of the week, we head back to Calumet. And what else can you say about Dryden Nelson? He's got the speed to take it to the outside, the power to run it between the tackles, and he can be a legitimate threat in the passing game. As you can see, Nelson catches this beautiful ball from Paul Sturos, and he'll show his athleticism and determination to get the ball over the pylon for the touchdown. Congrats, Dryden. You get our number 1 play of the week. All right, now I know we've only had 1 week of football, but it's never too early for some team rankings.
Absolutely. Remember, these rankings can and will change week to week.
Here are our high school sports zone rankings brought to you by 41 Lumber. We'll start in 11-man football. At number 1, we have the Marquette Redmen. At number 2, we have the Kingsford Flivers. In the number 3 slot is the Menominee Maroons. Gladstone sits at number 4, and rounding out the top 5 is Escanaba.
In 8-man, North Central takes that number 1 spot. Pickford is number 2. At number 3, we have Ontonagon. Forest Park sits at 4, and Stang Nation rounds out the top 5. What do you think of these rankings? Let us know. Visit our Facebook or Twitter pages and give us your thoughts. Make sure to stay with us. We're just minutes away from revealing our 2nd game of the week for the 2021 season.
But first, we have to revisit an absolute ridiculous performance that happened in Westwood Friday night. Welcome back into the Sports Zone. If you want to reach out to us, you can do it on our social media feeds. It's at the Local 3 Sports Zone on Facebook and at the Local 3 Sports ZN on Twitter. Also, keep up with us at upmatters.com/sportszone. Every week, we will shine the light on a player whose stat line makes you do a double take.
This week's player put up numbers you normally only would see in a video game.
And although numbers don't mean everything, it's always fun to see players stuff the stat sheet.
Westwood running back senior Zach Carlson played a key role in the Patriots' dominating Week 1 victory over Houghton Friday night. He put up some eye-popping numbers: 20 carries for 256 yards, 6 touchdowns, and he converted 3 two-point conversions. We caught up with Carlson after his big-time performance.
I felt good, obviously, but yeah, I was pretty surprised because I was not expecting that. I wasn't really thinking about it. It was just like, it was good because we kept scoring. I wasn't thinking about my personal accomplishments. It was nice because like this year is a little bit normal with all the fans here, and like just to hear them all screaming loud and stuff when I'm running down the field, it felt nice. I was just kind of hoping for a win, like a solid win, but I'll take it.
Carlson will look for an encore performance tonight when the Patriots take on Iron Mountain.
Several first-year head coaches were able to capture their first win with their new programs.
Ishpeming's Cody Kugler coached a great game as the Hematites took care of Manistee at home on Friday night.
Ishpeming returned after missing all of last year due to low numbers because of COVID-19. For Kugler, the win comes almost a decade after he won a state title with the Hematites as a player. Things have definitely come full circle for him.
That first win, it was great to have that for the community, especially with all the hard work and dedication these seniors and juniors and select sophomores were on that field as well, giving their all when it mattered most in the game. We had a couple 4th down conversions that we converted, and they were very gutsy on defense. So it was very nice to get that win to start out for the community and the players.
The Hematites are back in action tonight against Hancock at Finlandia's McAfee Field.
Now we move on to Escanaba, where another head coach got the 2021 season off to a great start.
Yes, Dave Wilson, he wears multiple hats at Escanaba, and this year he added head coach to his resume. The Eskimos traveling to Antigo, Wisconsin and leaving with a 42-28 win, giving Wilson his first win as head coach. The game was originally scheduled for Friday night but was postponed to Saturday because of bad weather. After the game, Wilson said the wait was well worth it.
You know, it's exciting. I was nervous. I was excited. The kids played well. It's always hard to get the first one. Whether you got a new coach or not, it's a challenge. We executed pretty well. We got some things to shore up, obviously, and give Antigo credit. They played hard. Just happy to come down here, happy to play after last night, and the weather and COVID. We're just happy to play football. Every day is I enjoy these kids. Love being here with them.
The Eskimos will be in Petoskey tomorrow night looking for another victory.
Coming up on the Sports Zone, we'll reveal where we're going to be headed for our next game of the week.
But first, we head to Marquette for our first player spotlight of the season. And some former high school football stars from the 906 are getting ready to lead the Michigan Tech Huskies in 2021. The Marquette football team proved last week against Alpena that they are one of the best teams up here in the UP.
And Marquette has playmakers all over the field, but one player is showing his value exceeds far beyond the field.
Lightning can strike anytime the ball touches Desmond Mullen's hands.
Desmond is going to be by far one of the kids that I'm looking towards, and I expect big things out of him because he was 160, 65 pounds last year, and he's almost 190 now. Obviously that's a big improvement.
The thought of a bigger, stronger, more experienced Mullen will be a scary thought for opposing teams. As a junior last season, he entered a class of his own, becoming the first player in program history to be named to the All-State first team as a defensive back.
He's the quarterback of our defense. Without him, we're significantly, less as far as our knowledge of what's going on, our coverages and different things, because he's just an endless film watcher, and he understands the game, and his instincts are second to none.
So I'm basically calling out the plays, and I'm making adjustments if we need to be, like making adjustments on the field. And so I think it's just a great honor.
Mullen's role will expand on the offensive side of the ball this season. He will play a key role in the backfield as a running back. It's something quarterback Austin Riddle is excited about.
Yeah, Dez is a fast kid, but he's also super strong. He's got that, can break tackles, make plays in open space, and he can create space. He's a really good running back, and I think teams are going to be shocked at what they haven't seen.
Mullen's success comes to no surprise from his teammates. Behind closed doors, he's setting the example.
I think it's his hard work, his drive, and his intelligence of just the game overall that sets him apart from everyone else. He knows the field inside and out, and he's just always where he needs to be.
But what drives Mullen to strive for greatness? Just a little sibling rivalry.
Honestly, ever since I was young, I just want to be better than my brother, so that just kind of motivates me there. I saw what he did, and he was really good at high school and even at college, so I just want to be at the same level, if not better. So.
Do you think your projection is going that way?
Oh, 100%.
Switching gears now, over the years, we've seen some amazing talent come through the area, some lucky enough to play at the next level.
UP power will be on full display when the Michigan Tech Huskies take the field this season. Over 24 players on the Huskies roster have UP roots, with several of those players filling key roles for the team in 2021.
You take a look at the history of Michigan Tech. When we've had our best football teams, we've had very good UP talent, and so keeping that in mind and trying to recruit UP players, that's a real key thing for us.
Olson says the development of players from their backyard is important to the team's overall success.
Sometimes it takes a little bit of time, but having some stick-to-itiveness for those guys and determination and some toughness, it ends up showing on the field for them somewhere down the line in their careers.
Former Sault Ste. Marie Blue Devil Nate Lejoy is a prime example of a player that embodies those characteristics. After not seeing the field early in his career, he's become an All-American pass rusher and leader for the Huskies.
So Nate Lejoy is one of those stories of a guy that came in. He was, a little bit undersized, but worked his tail off. Got really strong in the weight room. It took him a couple of years to even get a shot to get on the field. So his patience and his persistence really paid off, and that shows up in terms of his grit, his work ethic on the field, his pursuit to the ball, the things that he just brings from that standpoint on every play, and that's why he's the type of player that he is, and that's why he's the type of guy that could very well be the best defensive lineman in the league, and it comes from that determination that obviously our UP guys have up here.
Yeah, coming from the UP, it's been a dream to be able to play for Michigan Tech and support the UP and make a name for ourselves. Being able to be out here and lead this team and lead a team that's well known in the GLIAC coming from the UP, it's been a dream come true.
Players who were once hated rivals now have the opportunity to represent the UP on a bigger stage.
You might be rivals in high school, coming from the Sault Ste. Marie, playing Marquette and all of them. I have a ton of buddies now, but yeah, in high school you were rivals, hated each other on Friday nights, but now we're best buds on Saturday mornings and after the game too.
Although these players once stood on opposite sidelines, former Newberry standout John Paramsky says there's an unspoken bond that resonates between UP athletes.
You walk in here and you all know of each other. You've seen their names in the paper, they've seen yours, so there's a mutual respect between everyone, and that's nice when you're coming in as a freshman. You have those people that you can go up to and talk to, and the older guys, they'll all take you in kind of under their wing, and get you started anyway. So there's definitely a little mutual understanding that those are your guys.
Just another example of Yoopers always sticking together.
Up next on the Sports Zone, it's that time that we've been waiting for.
We're going to reveal where we're going to be heading tomorrow for our Game of the Week for Week 2. That's coming up next. Welcome back into the Sports Zone. If you want to reach out to us, you can do it on our social media feeds. It's at the Local 3 Sports Zone on Facebook and at the Local 3 Sports ZN on Twitter. Or you can go to our website, upmatters.com/sportszone to see what we've been up to. Now, last week's Game of the Week was an exciting one between Gladstone and Calumet, where the Braves came out on top with an overtime victory.
But this week we are downsizing and we are headed to check out the reigning Division II state champs.
Coming off a 46-0 win, the North Central Jets have some major momentum heading into their game against Norway. That momentum has carried over from last year in 2020 when no one was able to slow them down. In Week 1, North Central put up some impressive numbers doing what they do best, putting the ball into the end zone. Despite the team losing some key players from the 2020 state champion team, they still have some lethal weapons on the sidelines.
I think last week and everything, we just showed our depth, not only the starters, but if anybody goes down, we can also, I think, just play just as well with some of our backup guys. I think this week we're just going to try to score as much as we can, and like I said before, take this practice time and try to get things sorted out that we have some questions on and stuff like that.
New to the 8-man division this year, the Norwood Knights are looking to make a name for themselves. The Knights spent all summer acclimating to the new life in a smaller division. The team has overcome adversity already this season, enduring season-ending injuries late in camp as well as a forfeit in their Week 1 game. Despite not having the first week under their belts, Norway practiced in a team scrimmage last Friday to bring to life the game atmosphere as much as they could.
Yeah, it definitely sucked not playing Week 1, but we got to scrimmage each other, and it was almost like a game format. We got the whole fan section down there, the cheerleaders, so it was nice, especially playing quarterback, to have that fan section, everyone there to prepare. So, yeah, it sucked, but I still feel like we're pretty prepared going into Week 2. Just be confident. They've been good for a long time, but we want to win. We want to show what we can do. Our game plan is just to stay focused throughout the week, don't get too hyped up, and when game time comes, then we can let it go.
What a big-time test for the Norway Knights in the 8-man division, going up against the reigning state champs. It's going to be a home game for Norway, but I'm going to probably figure that North Central is a heavy favorite in this one.
Yeah, I could not imagine how they're feeling going into this game. I mean, talk about a way to kick off your welcoming into this new division with taking on the reigning Division II state champs.
The good thing about high school football is anything can happen on any given night. That's all for this week. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next week.